I get comments all the time. Blow your nose, man. I'm like, listen, it's the way I sound. There's nothing I can do about it. But there are some times.
These are my comments.
Yeah.
That's what Lauri.
That was your comment, Lauri.
Oh. That was Lauri.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It
I'm
wasn't me.
kidding.
Welcome to Second Notice, my friends. In this episode, me and Benji Kaiser are interviewing a very interesting creator, Matthew. He's running an awesome YouTube channel and he's also a creator. So it's interesting to see his perspective on some of the creator tech, what's the best bang for buck, what's he using. So very interesting conversation coming up. Let's go. This video is sponsored by Riverside, which is also the secret of recording these high quality video podcasts when people are located all around the world. Riverside is a simple online recording studio that offers local recordings of up to 4K video and 48 kilohertz on compressed audio. So basically how this works is instead of you sending your compressed low quality video and audio across the internet to someone to record on their side, the video and audio get recorded locally on that side of, the internet connection and then uploaded directly to the cloud. And then the low quality video will be sent to other people for them to see, which means that they get the best connection, but we're still recording the best quality to the cloud. So you don't have to worry about compromising on audio quality if the internet connection is bad. Use the built-in Magic Video Creator to create the multicam view. It's available on smartphones and on desktop. We've been using and loving Riverside so much that we asked Riverside if they want to sponsor these videos, and here we go. So check out riverside.fm in the video description below and try out the free trial.
No, I'd be interested to know, you as a YouTuber, you've reviewed absolutely buttloads of tech. What is maybe the one thing that you think, do you know what, this is not getting talked about enough, or it's a little bit underrated in what's gone through, and you reviewed this thinking, or even used it, you're thinking, do you know what, this works really well, but somehow the videos that other people have made and what you've seen online, do you know what, they don't do just justice some of the things you have tried.
Yeah, I mean, lately there hasn't been anything like that. I mean, actually, to be quite honest with you, I like the Intel NUC, I think needs better coverage. It's really expensive. I said in my video, building a PC is significantly cheaper, but it's so cool in the sense that it's a good, there's a lot of people who don't want to build a PC, but you still get some of that feel when you're playing with it. Cause you still have to open it up, even though it's very easy to open up, right? You don't have to worry about plugging in crazy amount of cables or where does this go or that go. It's kind of there already. You just finish plugging things in. Everything's captive. The screws are captive. You can open it up quite easy. So I think I wish stuff like that would get more press coverage, because I think it's a good solution for a lot of people who want to build a PC but don't want to go nerd, sweaty deep into building a PC. So that would be kind of cool. But nothing recently, nothing's popping in my mind right now to think of it. But I think when the MacBook Pros, the M1s came out, the M1 Pros, I think that was a moment I was like, people need to understand how good this is. But then sometimes that's dangerous too, because I'm excited because it's my workflow is, it's getting crushed with great performance and it's quiet at the same time. But at the same time, when you have to take a step back and realize, well, it's really good at video editing, but it's not the best for someone who's in 3D work, because it's not QuickSync, but Apple's media encoder that's doing all the heavy lifting for that video work, right? And you don't have that access when you're doing 3D work. So stuff like that, you have to be careful too. But that was probably the last thing that I was super holy smokes, people need to know about this. But there hasn't been anything lately besides the Intel NUC.
What about the other side of it in terms of overrated? Some of the things that are whoa, this is way too big of a deal. Do you know what? People need to dial this down. This is just okay, but people make such a big deal out of this.
Yeah, I think this year so far, there's definitely been products like that for sure. I think this year so far, I think the new G14 is a little overrated, just because they went in some directions great, but they also kind of went a few steps back in others.
Okay, don't move past that. Why do you think it's overrated?
So so they gave people what they wanted. They gave them a better webcam. I mean, they put a webcam. There never was a webcam. They put a webcam on the thing, right? They kept a similar design that people were familiar with. They cleaned it up. It's all white now instead of having a white top and gray bottom. Keyboard is the same. Really great keyboard. Bigger trackpad. So they made the proper iterative features, but I feel like they went a bit. They tried to cram too much into it, right? So in my review, I said this thing gets ridiculously hot, right? I had the thing shut off on me when I was pushing the GPU and CPU.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it was a bad mistake. Not a bad mistake, but again, like when I'm pushing these things in a video, like this is like, most people are not doing this on a daily basis. So I don't think it's going to shut off for most people. But it does run hot regardless of
Did you have the 6800 or the 67?
68. I mean, a lot of people, I hope you have the 6700 because
I have the 67.
Perfect. Because a lot of people, I think, are more interested in that one. So just because it's more affordable, like it resembles the same price as the previous model. And because they increased the price like crazy, right? Because like the high end version of last year's model was around the $1,500 or $1,600 mark, right? This year it's $2,500. In some ways, rightfully so. Yeah, in some ways, rightfully so, because the GPU is more powerful and it's more high end now. But I think the 6700S is going to be the one that most people look at. So it's a good thing you're reviewing it. But I think it's a bit overhyped in that sense that like, okay, all these improvements are great and the performance in gaming is much better, but you're not seeing a big jump in everything else, you know, because they're using that AMD GPU instead of NVIDIA's, right? Because a lot of the apps that people use like Adobe Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop. Well, Photoshop's more CPU, it's not a big deal. But anything more GPU related, NVIDIA has always offered better performance. So I think that was a step back. So yeah, I think it's a bit overrated.
Ben, what do you think? Do you have anything to add to this one? What do you think is a bit overrated or underrated that you can think of that's gone, you know, through your channel?
I think what's surprisingly underrated is at least from my channel views, is the Studio Book Pro 16 with the dial. Like, I think that when we talk about like productivity and like improvements and really pushing the industry forward, I feel like ASUS is really stepping up. And I mentioned this with Jared. I feel like that laptop did not get enough front time. And it's, you know, like we said, it's, you know, 1.75 billion gamers versus, you know, how many content creators. Like, it's a big slide in the market, but that's my thought.
I think I never get to play with that laptop. I do like, it looks amazing, right? I think the reason why it kind of went like, because it got like when it was first announced, it was really hyped up, right? Yeah. And I think the reason why it kind of went under the radar was because the timing of it coming out was just after the MacBook Pros came out. And it would have crushed it in terms of like raw performance. And I think it's using an 11th gen processor, right?
Ryzen 5 11th gen. And they're going to have hopefully a iteration.
Yeah. So that's the thing too, right? Like it was using this Ryzen 5 11th gen. Intel didn't have their new 12th gens laptops announcement yet, which wasn't until CES. So like you're going to put this Studio Book, which is aimed towards creators. You're going to market it like crazy, but then you're putting it out at the exact same time as these new MacBooks where the hype is just like through the roof. So I think it kind of just like slid under the radar. And I think that's why you're probably saying it's underrated. But again, like this is one of those things that, you know, you asked in the beginning of the video, like, you know, are we overhyping stuff? And, you know, maybe from like top performance level, you're telling the truth, but like for most people, they're not going to notice the difference editing YouTube videos going from that Studio Book to the newer MacBook Pros. Like they're just not going to see it, right?
Yeah.
So there's that kind of consideration you have to take in mind. And they might enjoy that dial, might benefit their workflow better than just like your standard traditional laptop.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I love it. I have like one kind of more question that I'd be interesting to know. So this is now something just you personally, you're a YouTuber, and then something that I'd like to kind of categorize something that you have purchased rather than just got in. Something that you thought, do you know what, this is really gonna improve how I'm doing things. I just like this, or it can be big, it can be small. I'm just curious, one thing that you may be using very often that really, really helps in your, you know, your workflow.
One thing that I purchased that I think, this is gonna sound so weird. Well, not weird, but I think it'd be like more, well, no, it's not really like I guess that's not really a good one because it's not going to be pertaining to my workflow, but it's like a purifier for the air, okay? Like my office is very dry, right? So I got a Dyson purifier, okay? And that improves the space that I work in. And Canada's, you know, the air is clean here. So like, it's not really going to do much for like purifying the air to make it cleaner, but like, the humidity in this office is really dry during the wintertime. So that helps. Right? I breathe better, I talk better. Even though lately my past few videos, it sounds like I'm congested like beyond belief, but that's kind of just how I sound too, right? I get comments all the time, blow your nose, man. I'm like, listen, it's the way I sound. There's nothing I can do about it. But there are some times
these are my comments.
Yeah.
That's what Lauri...
that was your comment, Lauri? Oh!
That was Lauri!
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
You bastard! I'm kidding. So yeah, I mean, there's that helps. But, you know, just like little things, you know, like getting a monitor arm and lifting the monitor up a little higher, have everything kind of clean and organized, that I purchased for myself. iPad mini I purchased.
Oh.
I didn't purchase the iPad mini. M1 iPad Pro. That was something I thought I would really use, and it literally just sits on my desk and collects dust.
Dang.
So there are things that I have purchased personally that I think I was going to use, but ended up not using. Lately, one thing that I thought was really cool was you know how you could, I don't know why I didn't buy this before, but Elgato came out with this like foot pedal, right? And it allows you to like mute the microphone, or you can basically use it to do a bunch of different. That's kind of like convenient. So like if I'm talking to my friends in game, I just push the pedal, it mutes it, or if I double tap it, it can perform another action. So
That's
you
so
can
cool. I
actually
didn't know
set
about
that.
it.
Yeah,
Dude,
you
I
can
could
actually
use
set
that
it
for
up
mine.
to work with other applications too. So like if you're editing a video and you want to play, you can just tap the pedal and it'll do it, right? Like stupid stuff
my
like that.
word.
Yeah.
This
it's
could
so
be
convenient.
awesome for like switching cameras on a live stream. Are you kidding?
And it attaches to like the Steam Deck, so you can use it with that. So there's tons of things you can do with it. It's really cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
Matt, you just blew
This
my
is
mind.
not
This great.
sponsored.
No. No.
Watch
Okay.
us at the sponsor segment in here now.
Yeah.
Elgato.
Yeah.
Elgato. That is fantastic. I appreciate that one a lot. Man, that's so cool.
And how about you guys? What's your like one thing you purchased and changed the way you feel about life?
I forgot that I use this every single day, all day, and it was such a game changer for me. I only have a standing desk. I don't sit down except to record.
Yeah.
And I feel like standing desks are overhyped but underrated.
Oh, absolutely.
And what I mean by that is everybody's like, "Oh, standing desk. Yeah, let's get fit and healthy and happy." And then they like buy them and then it sits in the sitting position.
Oh, for sure.
And so
I'm
my
guilty
thing
of
is, well, okay, here's the thing. I had to do like half and half days, and I just like my butt gets so like sore and falls asleep. And so like I did half days.
Standing
probably
up
6
or
months.
sitting down?
Sitting down.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
I was concerned
now after 6 years of using the standing desk, like I don't even notice I'm standing.
Yeah.
I notice when, like I'm sitting down and it drives me crazy. So that would probably be for me my best purchase. I actually made mine, but
Yeah.
it's like gas pipes and stuff.
Now that you mentioned that, I did purchase a Herman Miller chair recently, and that was one of the best purchases I've ever made because
It is actually
I got a
really
good deal.
Really?
They're really expensive. I got a good deal,
Yes.
but it's the Embody, right? I have an Aaron chair at the studio. I like it, but I don't love it. But the Embody, holy smokes, that was definitely one of the best purchases I've made recently. It's so
Okay.
comfortable. It's
I've
you know what? Like
I've been looking
spend
and
the money on it.
debating about it.
Yeah,
I've been
look,
seeing
I'll be
like
honest
those.
with you. Okay, there's a $200 to $300 chair. It's I forget the name. They sell at Staples here in Canada. So, but they also sell on Amazon, and it's a pretty standard chair. Whatever you do, don't buy a gaming chair. They're all crap. But there's a chair at Staples here in Canada, and I know they sell it worldwide. I'll get the name for you guys afterward. It's like literally $200 to $300. You guys probably seen it in some people's videos, but like it looks like an Aaron, but it's not. And then they have like a head rest back here. It's not
Oh
from-
yeah, yeah.
It's not from Autonomous. It starts with an H. It has different names, but I'll link it to you guys. I've recommended it to a tons of people. It's great if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a Herman Miller. That's probably my next best option. Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, Herman Millers are pretty bougie. Not gonna lie.
Oh, they're some of them are overpriced for sure. Like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it's not, but I
Tell you what though,
it's
I
worth it
really
if you-
want that like lounge chair with the footstool in whenever I get my like a bigger office.
Yeah,
That'd
be sweet.
That just
Yeah.
Yeah.
be sweet.
For me, like the thing, it's not really what I purchased, but something that kind of I wasn't aware of, that when I actually just included it in my workflow, I'm just like, why haven't I done this before, is a NAS. Like having a NAS for
yeah.
a
So
lot of, I can't live without it now. I'm just thinking, like how, having different computers, you can access it all over the internet all the time. It's just absolutely amazing. Like I didn't know that like NAS can do all these things, and it's a little bit of a like difficult thing to kind of get your head around, especially if you're on a Windows, because it's not quite plug and play. You're like, wait a second, what's going on over here? What, you don't use a USB cable? What's this internet cable for? And people can think that like, how does this work? It works a little bit differently, but it's absolutely amazing.
I agree. I second that. Getting a NAS. Before I got it, I was like, I don't need this, and then I got it, and I was like, I can't live without this. I know exactly what you're saying. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I have one. It's not actually set up. It's literally under my desk, plugged in, and I never use it. So I should probably
Turn
start
it into a
using
home theater PC then, at the very least, if you're not going to use it for work.
Oh,
Fair
you
enough.
can do so many things with it.
Oh,
It's
so many.
awesome.
It's great. Yeah.
All right, I need to commit. I don't have like when I go. I'm going full time in July.
Okay.
And so like right now, like my work is like IPA, like income producing activities, like the
Right.
most important next steps, and like getting an NAS going is not.
Yeah,
on that
probably not.
list.
It's not. It's not. It'll be more once you go full time. You'll probably set it up. It'll probably make your life easier if you're like moving files around and
Yeah.
having it. But you can even work off of it if you get like a 10 gigabit connection, connected directly, and depending on how you do the rate setup, you can literally work off it the entire time. So
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an editor, and right now I literally take a hard drive to her. and give her a hard drive and like transfer stuff. So
Yeah.
we like meet up at church every week.
yeah,
And like before service, I like grab her drive and grab my drive and transfer them, and then like that's
Oh my
literally
God.
how I have my editor working for me. It's pretty fantastic.
as long as it works, as long as it makes your life easier.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been great. Do you have an editor, or you do
No,
everything?
not right. I did in the summertime. Had an intern here, but I've been so lazy to hire people. I should. Like, I'd make my life so much easier. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. Like, I'm working way too much, which is not good. I'm that type of person, just like probably most other creators who have a tough time letting go of control. But I know,
Yeah.
like, whenever I have someone here, and I've used to. I don't know if you guys know Ash Taylor. He made a lot of videos.
I've
He used
heard
to
you
work
mention him, so I've looked him up.
Yeah, so he's an amazing video editor. So he used to work, not video editor, but creator in general. He used to help me out a lot, but he's trying to be like a DP now, so he has no more time anymore. But when he was working with me, it made a big difference. The intern that I had here in the summertime made a big difference. It got more content out. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be hiring an editor for sure. It's just, I've been lazy to do that.
Gotcha. Cool.
I mean, this is probably the most shocking thing you've said so far. How do you produce so much content and just... Are you a one-man band? Do you have anyone else?
Right now,
doing-
I'm a one-man band. I do everything. But I haven't been putting
Man.
that much lately. It's been like 1 or 2 videos a week, right? Which is really
Okay.
low for me. Like last year, I was putting out like 3 or 4 a week, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
doing it all myself. But you have to understand, like, I'm a one-man band, but the way I have everything set up in this studio is
Super efficient.
automatic, right? Like,
Yeah, same
I sit
here.
down here, ready to go. I don't have to move cameras. Just
Yeah.
hit a light. I say the G word to turn on the lights in the back, and it's good. And hit record. That's it. My other setup, same thing. I just, I already know that most of my shots are going to be using the top-down cam when I'm talking, so that saves time on B-roll. So, like, there's ways to make it more efficient. It's not as fancy, for sure, right? But,
Yes.
but yeah, it definitely helps out, because I hate B-roll. Like, I'll be straight up, I hate B-roll.
Yeah. I hate shooting B-roll. B-roll,
Yeah.
I absolutely, it's like, I don't know why, but it is not
Yeah,
fun
it's-
for me. Like,
yeah,
I
I
watch,
don't like
like,
it.
Matt Hoppajaw or Hopalong, whatever
Yep,
his name, how
yep,
you ever
I
say
know
his
Matt.
last name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, these shots are beautiful. And then I
Right.
go to do them and I'm like, I hate my life.
That's true.
Like, it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
And then
I
it
know what
doesn't
you're
look good. I'm like, why can't I look like Matt and Peter and all these guys? And it's
Yeah.
just like,
But I don't think
So
you
you
need
actually-
to, like, in our industry, right? Like, I think most people just want the information, and they want, like, a good...
that's what I'm
They
finding.
just want a good information. They don't want to be, like, wasting time. I mean, some do. Don't get me wrong. There's
Yeah.
an audience for that, right?
Yeah.
But, like, if you even look at the big guys like Marquez and Linus, it's just like
doesn't
they
do
get to the
much.
point. Like, Linus
Yeah.
has some humor in his videos, whether you like it or not. And, and MKHD does certain things like change backgrounds, and he does have really nice B-roll. But at the end of the day, it's not like he gets to the point. He gives good information, and that's what people want, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
So here's the question. Do you reckon if a YouTube channel, if you can even say that, if you have a lot of nice shots, it looks really nice, do you think this is more for the creators or for the viewers?
that's a good question. I mean, okay, so I think there's a limit on that, right? Like, if you're coming from a really bad, poor lit, I don't know what the hell's going on with the product shot, then yeah, it's definitely for the viewers, right? But if you're showing your product with good lighting, right, regardless of whether it's static or moving, I don't think it's going to take away from what you're trying to say. What it will do is, if you have a beautiful shot, is it might help connect with the viewer more.
Yeah.
But then you're also then you're also playing into what we were talking about earlier, right?
The marketing.
The marketing.
Overhyping and marketing, right? So it's like, where do you go with this, right? So it's
Yeah.
you have to kind of like balance it. The thing about Peter and Maddie and all those guys, they're in a different industry. They're talking cameras. Like that's what they do. They shoot with cameras. They're
that's a
showing
good
what the
point.
camera can do at 120 frames per second and this and that. And they have all these compositions to show like, you know, the color and everything. So that's different. But we're in like reviews, regardless of whether it's tech or cars, it's
Yeah.
a review. So I think it's a balancing act.
Well, I think about Dave. Like Dave has one of the most popular YouTube channels for tech, and
Yeah.
he is so, it's completely still, like 99.9% of the time,
Right.
and he has some of the most popular videos. And like
Right.
you're saying, it's the information and it's the shot to explain what he's saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think he does. I think with him too is he's not so much about B-roll, but he has a prettier post-production edit. Like so, like for example, you know, MKHD, it's more about the shots, and he does do
Yeah.
some nice graphics. Dave, I think, focuses more on the graphics rather than the shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
So like
sense.
the information popping up on the screen and the little things, there's more of an aesthetic behind it rather than just like, here's all the numbers. You know, kind of like what
It's
I
not
do.
just a chart. It's like
Yeah,
nice
exactly.
motion design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there's something there, right? Every video, every creator has something there for them, right? So
Yeah. So you have something that you and Dave both actually. Your thumbnails, the floating laptop.
right.
I promise I won't. Well, I can't promise I won't steal it. How do you do the floating laptop? Are you
Okay,
doing like?
Can you hold on 1 second? The door
Are
just
you-
opened. I gotta get back. 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, of course.
And we're gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and see you soon.
See you later.
See you
Matt
later.
just left.